So let's talk about a couple of potential issues I've noticed recently with my new Jeep Gladiator. This is a 2025 Jeep Gladiator Sport with the Nighthawk Trim Edition. It's got 783 miles on it, and there have been a couple of strange things. And I don't know if they're issues or maybe inherent to the current Jeep Gladiator or not, but I want to run through them with you guys, and then leave a comment down below and let me know if you've experienced any of this. But before I get started, let me say I love the Jeep Gladiator. I think it's an awesome vehicle. I think from now on I'll probably always have one. I know I've kind of traded them off here or there, but I've kind of decided that this is one of those vehicles for me, and I just have to have it, right? So I don't want you to think that for some reason I'm just dogging the Jeep Gladiator because I don't like it. I'm merely sharing my experiences of it with you guys so that you can be aware, and maybe I can get some answers too. So let's kick into the first one. This has happened to me twice. Once when I was traveling at slow speed, let's say under 20 mile an hour, and once when I was coming up to it wasn't a hard stop, but I would call it a firm stop at a stoplight. I probably should have started to brake a little sooner than I did. And what it was this weird kind of clunk from the rear end. If I had to guess, I would say it was from the rear differential. Like something just didn't mesh right, like it was clanking kind of weird. I don't know, just kind of strange to me. Now, I've mentioned this once before, and I had some people mention to me that I should check the brake calipers to make sure that the bolts are tight. I did that, and there was no issue. Everything was nice and tight, so my brake calipers aren't moving around. And let me say, I appreciate that suggestion because I do know what they're talking about. I had that happen on a Toyota Tacoma not long ago, and it was a weird clunk coming from the front end. This is completely different. So anyway, a couple of times I've had that happen on this trip, and this is the first trip since the last time it happened. It has not occurred. Now, let me say, I did do a video right before this one testing out how to put the Jeep Gladiator into four-wheel drive, or putting it into four-wheel drive the first time myself. And maybe that kind of meshed things together better since it's not been in four-wheel drive before, and that issue is now gone. Maybe something wasn't lubricated properly, and by putting it into four-wheel drive, I took care of that. I don't know, just a theory, right? So again, if you've experienced that, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about. Now, the second one, I've kind of noticed ever since I've had the Jeep Gladiator, but I kind of thought maybe there's a little bit of a learning curve to the truck itself. You know, everybody always says that they're built intelligently these days, and they kind of learn your driving patterns, right? So it takes a while before the truck figures out what you're doing and how to respond based on what you're doing or your driving style. So I kind of attributed it to that. But with 786 miles now, I would think the truck pretty much knows how I drive. There is one little caveat I'll put in though. I have disconnected the battery, so maybe that reset the system and it's relearning all over again. I've disconnected the battery a couple of times, so maybe I started over. But anyway, what I'm feeling is a little bit of indecisiveness. I just felt it there. Indecisiveness, or maybe a little bit harder shifting in the transmission. I've noticed this particularly when I'm traveling at maybe slower speeds, under 40 let's say, and kind of feathering the gas pedal based on traffic or upcoming stops or things like that. The truck seems to almost display a kind of a shuddery feeling when it's shifting into the next gear, either upshifting or downshifting. It doesn't really matter. Something I can feel and something I can even kind of hear in the sound of the engine, right? Like it's kind of adjusting its RPMs based on what gear level, I guess, the transmission is in. Now, do I think it's a problem? I don't think it's a problem. I think it's probably something inherent to the truck. I think it's just the way that it is. Although I will say, in my previous 3 Jeep Gladiators, I never noticed anything like that in the transmission. The transmissions always seem to be solid. They always seem to be fine. I never noticed anything strange. Although in the Mojave that I had, and that was my last Jeep Gladiator prior to this one, it did have a vibrating issue at stop. So if I pulled up to a stop sign, it would kind of vibrate a little bit, like it wasn't running quite properly. That's not really transmission related though, because I was at a stop. I think I finally figured out that that was due to the smaller jets in the fuel system being clogged, because when I would add a fuel cleaner or a fuel additive, that sensation would go away for about 3 months, something like that, and then it would rather start to occur again. But again, not really transmission related, since I wasn't moving. Otherwise, the Jeep Gladiator has been rock solid. My fuel economy is even going up a little bit. I'm now at a whopping 14.5 as opposed to 14.3 miles per gallon. So I hope that continues to climb. I'm not really doing anything differently. If anything, I would have been burning more gas by shifting it into 4-wheel drive for the test I just did. So who knows? Maybe I woke it up somehow, or I don't know. It's just kind of strange. But like I said, otherwise the truck has been awesome. It's been perfect. It runs nice and smoothly at stops. I'm kind of a stickler for that. I feel everything in my vehicle, so if there's something weird, I'm gonna know it. I did put an aftermarket cold air intake on it, the Air Raid. If you can hear the louder sound of the truck, that's what you're hearing. I think they're awesome. The best intake that I've had for really any vehicle is the Air Raid, particularly the one for the Jeep Gladiator. You just get a lot of sound out of that box. I love it. It's awesome. Otherwise, the truck is pretty much stock, other than a few aesthetic or added accessory type things. Anyway, leave a comment. Let me know if you've experienced any of these things, or how is your new Jeep Gladiator doing? Do you have anything odd or weird or strange? I'd just be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.